What is your understanding around the details of this deal?
At this point, we don't know very many details. The White House has released a press release, and the Department of Energy as well, saying that there will be cooperation on civilian nuclear power and that it will uphold the highest standards of safety and non-proliferation. But apart from that, details are sadly lacking.
So the deal, as you just mentioned there, is centred around this idea of civilian nuclear program. If that were to go ahead, what sort of safeguards would be necessary to go around that?
Well, that's really the key question. Ordinarily, when the United States signs an agreement like this to cooperate on civilian nuclear power with a foreign government, there is a requirement for what is called an additional protocol with the IAEA, which would allow access by that organization to the relevant nuclear facilities, a high degree of transparency, inspections, and information exchanges, and that sort of thing. And the government of Saudi Arabia has indicated that it is unwilling to sign an additional protocol. So without that, how do we meet the high standards of non-proliferation? That's really going to be the question people will ask about this deal when the details become known and what will receive the most scrutiny. Remember that this deal needs to be approved by the United States Congress. And members of Congress are going to be very careful about asking questions like that and wanting to know how the assurances being provided is not through an additional protocol.
So what is the risk then that Saudi Arabia could go beyond using it for a civilian program? We know in the past it has said it would need a nuclear weapon if Iran acquired one.
That's right. And the question is around the enrichment of uranium. Uranium is enriched as a means of fueling civilian plants to a low level of enrichment. If you take that to a high level of enrichment, then it becomes usable for nuclear weapons, and only usable for nuclear weapons. So the assurances and the transparency measures would be to ensure that Saudi Arabia is not enriching uranium to weapons usable levels.
Given what you just touched on there, the perceived lack of appetite for the kingdom to get the IAEA involved, why would the US strike a deal like this? Were they worried that Saudi Arabia might go elsewhere?
There are several reasons to make such a deal at this time. The basic one is economic. We're talking about billions of dollars here that would go towards U.S. business. But more than that, it's that if you do a deal the right way, you actually reinforce non-proliferation standards by requiring that transparency, by requiring that availability to inspection. You're setting the high standards for civilian nuclear power throughout the world. So if done right, this is a very good thing. If done wrong, it could lead to proliferation.
Okay. We know that this proposal has been in discussions for years. The Biden administration was looking at this, but there was, I believe, a condition around linking the deal to Saudi-Israeli relations there. Is there any suggestion that that condition has been posed this time around?
If there is, I have not seen it. Israel has reacted that it is concerned about the potential deal. We'll see once the details are known what the degree of Israel's objections would be. But at this point, we don't know the details, so we don't know very much about how that's going to play out.
What do you make of the timing of this, John? We know it's playing out against a backdrop of the US's war with Iran. That is one of the motivations, we're told, is to prevent Tehran from enriching uranium, so therefore making it near impossible for Tehran to build a nuclear weapon.
Again, we'll know more once the details of the arrangement become public. But I would suspect that there is some sort of parallelism going on with the talks with Iran right now, that Saudi Arabia insisted on having the same status with regard to its nuclear facilities as Iran will get under a potential US-Iran peace deal. So I can see the two things proceeding in parallel and equaling each other in that respect.
John Erath, Senior Policy Director at the Centre for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, thank you for your time.
You're very welcome.